Another thing I'd like to bring up about PA is that we took the clinics. We not only built that clinic, so we went on down the river and we built several more clinics. And since then, the Peruvian government has really worked with us. And now we buy our medicine directly from the government, where they buy it from different sources
Right.
at a super discounted price. And we have helped the government set up health providers in different tribes within like 100 miles of Taquitos, which is 2,000 miles from the mouth of the Amazon. We turned our clinics basically now into research centers and biological centers, and we have different colleges carry their pre-med students and stuff down and utilize our facilities, and we charge, I believe it's $50 a day per person. We provide them the transportation after they get to Taquitos,
Right.
up and down the river, their food, we got flushing toilets, we got purified waters, and cooks, therefore. And in the course of the last number of years, the Peruvian governments give us in charge of thousands of acres of land for protection of the rainforest. And we have purchased land and built facilities on it for research centers. We've had people, in fact, next week there will be a doctor from the Mississippi School of Medicine that is carrying 12 students down
Right.
to study there. And, you know, $50 a day is not much money here. I mean, you can't take your wife out to dinner on $50. But down there, $50 will cover one half of a month's we have to pay one of our caretakers. We have to keep caretakers every one of our facilities.
Right. Sure.
And we've actually, in our facilities, discovered frogs, a new breed of frogs that didn't never been discovered first. We've discovered 3 fish
Wow.
that there wasn't even a record that existed. And we had the honor of like even trying to name these fish and these different reptiles and stuff.
That's incredible.
Different species of forest.
Right.
We found one tree and we named it Lonely George because it's the only tree of that nature south of the equator.
Boy.
And
That's incredible. Now, Robert, have you been able to get people in this area or through Georgia or the rest of the Palmetto State interested in this? Or do they say, well, Robert, what about issues we've got at home? What about poverty in this area? Clearly not that level of desolate poverty or the back to the 19th century, but are you able to get people interested and willing to go down here, for instance, in this part of South Carolina?
Well, that's a very good question. And as politicians say, I'm glad you asked it.
Are you running for office? Are we getting that?
Yeah, robertshelley.org. Send your contributions in. Yes, there has been a tremendous problem because people have, what you first brought up, a fear of the Amazon.
Right.
And secondly, yes, I hear this all the time. We have so much poverty here. We have so much of a need here. Why go down there?
Right.
And one of my responses is we have a big need here because people don't want to work. I, as most people that don't mind, as they'll say, put your hand to the plow and go to work, we can beat out a living or find a living here. There are poverty, there's needs here, which I've tried to help in many cases finding needs and supplying needs. One of my things in life is if you see something that's fixed, that's broke, just fix it. You ain't got to stand up to the world and proclaim, I'm fixing this, or a need. Some child needs an operation. And I've paid for, I've been to Grand Strand Hospital and paid off people's bills many a time. Of course, I try to cut a deal with Doug White, which is always, he's glad to get 25 cents on a dollar because most of the time he's not even going to get none of a dollar if somebody don't step up to the aid. But yeah, I've been asked that question many times.
Yeah, I bet, Robert, and that is a tough thing, and at the very least, you know how to answer it. You have taken the time to learn more about the Amazon. I said fear of the government earlier on, and it sounds like that is, since the coup's taken place, the Peruvian government is a place, so if you invited someone down, they said, no, I'd be a little scared getting stuck down there, like stuck in a foreign country, never get back. Is that a fear that anyone should have?
Not now.
Not now.
Peruvian has a very stable government, and they've got I believe it's the second fastest growing economy in the world right now.
Great, okay.
And that comes back to mainly of them finally coming to the utilization of using their natural resources.
Right.
Which some of their natural resources is oil.
Oh yeah.
And that we have big battles with our properties, and we're in control of oil industry moving in and big oil companies, and they are like they were in the early 20s in America. They're just salvaging the land, oil spills galore, polluting the waters, destroying the quality of life of good quality food of what they had out in the rivers.
Right.
And there is a big war going on between organizations such as myself and the oil industries.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, one of the things, we're running out of time, Robert, and so many folks do say, and I'm sure you've heard this, Robert's only focused south of this country. I mean, he's not focused locally, and I think recently the D.W. Shelley Medical Fund at the Children's Home there in Tuberville is an example of you doing something right here in our viewing area in Florence County, which is critical. Share with viewers what prompted you to set up the D.W. Shelley Medical Fund.
Well, start with my father. He was a minister. My father preached for 49 years. My father went to the 3rd grade in school. He's probably one of the most inspiring people in my life, which most people's fathers are. And the reason it's called D.W. Shelley Medical Fund is because last June, the air conditioner went gone down in the children's home, which we now have 28 children there. And this is a children's home that receives no federal or no state funding. It's only done by people like myself and others that step up to the plate. Ocean Lakes is a big contributor,
Right.
and they are a big supporter of this children's home. Their hearts has been touched, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe on their Sunday services, all their collections go to the children's home to help support the children's
Wow.
home, which is
Wow.
another factor of why Ocean Lakes is so prosperous.
Right.
They know how to give back.
Yeah.
They're not greedy. That's why a lot of people don't have, is because they're greedy. They think about themselves first. But last June, the air conditioner was down. There was a medical need. They took the money out the general fund and supplied the medical need, down for 3 weeks. When I finally heard about it, I made 3 telephone calls. Air conditioning was sitting there operating within 48 hours. And people's hearts are touched by good needs and who is delivering the message.
Right.
Now, a lot of people will deliver a message, there's a need here, there's a need there, and you got to evaluate who's telling you about the need. If you a stand-up type guy and they know, and an old country saying is you've never heard before, if I tell you a chicken dip snuff, you can look around him and find the box. So the credibility of the person delivering the message, well, they'll know this is a true fact. And I made 3 telephone calls. Air conditioning was paid for. I didn't pull a dime out of my pocket. But I did not know there was not a medical fund set up for these 28 children. So I said, I'm going to set up this medical fund. And I talked to Preacher Todd Parrish, which is a very elite guardian of these children. And him and his family has devoted their life to these children. And he said he would like to do it at our Christmas party.
Yeah.
So, and to drag on the story a little bit, at our Christmas party, I give a small check to start up this medical fund, and he gets up, he said he would like to name this medical fund after my father, Reverend Woodrow Shelley.
Right.
And even at the Christmas party, I told them all I wasn't asking for any donations. And as I mentioned Mr. Gray earlier, he was the first one to stand up that he would like to give a contribution to it.
Wow.
Before that night, over another $1,000 that came in and stuck in my pocket.
Boy.
And since then, I've took in another $1,500. People just heard about it
That's
from the
tremendous.
messenger, and there was a
Yes.
stand-up type guy. There was a need there.
Well, let's hope some viewers will hear about it now. We've run out of time, Robert.
I'm
Thanks
sorry.
so much for being with us this morning.
Certainly
Sure
good
hope
to
to
be
get
in.
you back another time. Stay tuned to a little more All-American People with Robert Shelley of Project Amazonas coming up next. Reaching out to those less fortunate. Reaching out to those less fortunate. You'd see that part and parcel of everything involved in the Project Amazonas program, kicking off almost 2 decades ago. And to think about it originally being a vacation for these contractors, getting down there, living on the wild for 5 days, then expanding it out and expanding. Look what it's become. The opportunity, and of course that excitement to hear about Robert talking
one of the things we didn't get to highlight are so many friends and family who've recognized Robert. He won't talk about it, but Robert's somebody who stands by him not only in good times, but in bad times. That's when you know you got a true friend. Think about those folks out on the Amazon. Robert became a friend as soon as he walked into their community, as soon as he walked in or rode up in the boat and providing some medicine to kill those worms. Think about that. ProjectAmazonas.org. ProjectAmazonas.org. Go online, learn more about this tremendous adventure that these men took that have kicked off into changing the lives of so many. Get involved. ProjectAmazonas.org. Robert Shelley, thanks so much for all you do.